You're listening to the Southern Gospel News Podcast, the most listened to gospel music podcast in the world, with your hosts, Darien Southerland, Southern Gospel Hall of Famer Arthur Rice, and I'm Daniel Britt from Homecoming Radio. Now sit back and relax as you listen to SGNP.
And welcome once again to SGNP, Southern Gospel News Podcast. Darien Southerland, Arthur Rice, the President and Hall of Famer, with me. Arthur, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Say something bad about Daniel, because Daniel, you were with us the first week. Daniel couldn't make it. Daniel was with us the second week, and you couldn't make it. Daniel was supposed to be here today, but when you work for Bill Gaither, you're always busy, and he said he had to take his kids somewhere because his wife made him.
Yeah, he's doing a honeydew thing.
He's in a honeydew thing. And folks, believe it or not, we don't.
Which is more important to Bill Gates.
That's right. You're exactly right. I don't know about that. But anyway, it's close. And then number 3, we don't do this as a job anymore. We do this as fun because you notice we don't sell pillows anymore, Arthur. Have you noticed that?
I know.
Hey, man, today we got a special guest, and we'll get to him right after the break. He's going to be coming soon, so to speak. Man, that's a bad play on words, ain't it? Kevin Spencer's going to be with us. Arthur, what do you think of the Spencers, man? You got to sing with them a bunch through the years. What do you think of J.B. Barber, Kevin Wade, and all those guys?
We did. Back in the 80s, we worked with them a lot and always loved working with them. They always had great music. Band was always good, and they were good people to work with.
Good folks.
And,
good folks.
Yeah, they really were.
Well, I tell you what, let's take a quick break. Gonna play a song. Be right back with Kevin Spencer on Southern Gospel News Podcast.
Coming soon, Jesus in all his glory, not just a Savior, but a reigning King. Coming soon, and the whole world will be witness. Oh, be ready, for he is coming soon. Coming soon, Jesus in all his glory, not just a Savior, but a reigning King. Coming soon, and the whole world will be witness. Oh, be ready, for he is coming soon. Once he came to this old world of sin and sorrow, an humble babe in a manger in Bethlehem. But this time he's coming in all his power. Great kings of earth will bow and worship his great name. Coming soon, Jesus in all his glory, not just a Savior, but a reigning King. Coming soon, and the whole world will be witness. Oh, be ready, for he is coming soon. And when he comes, he'll bind the power of old Satan. just a savior, but a reigning king. Coming soon, and the whole world will be witness. Oh, be ready, for he is coming soon. Coming soon.
And welcome back to SGNP, the most listened to Southern gospel podcast in the world. Arthur, you let me tell you a little secret. I ain't even told you this.
Sure.
If you go to that podcast rating service called feedspot.com, because I don't like saying that without a truth. We were once the number one gospel music podcast of all time, but now we hadn't even we didn't even do a show for almost a year, and we're still in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? And we're still in the top 10, and that means people go back and listen to a plethora of our shows, and we've had some great folks on. Who's some of the folks you remember, Arthur, from doing this? Because me and you are not necessary interview guys. We just get on here and talk to people just like we're talking on the front porch.
Charlie Daniels was one of the cool ones, because it was just shortly after, or shortly right before he passed away.
Right.
So that was a pretty neat one that I've enjoyed. But I've enjoyed them all. I really have. They've just been a lot of fun.
Mark Trammell and Jeff Gibson. Jeff was awesome.
Jeff was a blast. It was great to talk to Jeff because really hadn't talked to him in so many years, and it was so good to have him on, and ask him some questions and catch up with him. So
and then if you want to listen to when I say the word raw, it's stuff you won't hear nowhere else in gospel music. Listen to that interview with Russ Taff. That was just as raw and as real and anything like that. But today we're going to be talking squirrel dog hunting. Okay?
Yeah.
Squirrel dog hunting with the ever popular from up there in mid-Ohio area. Are you still in Ohio, Kevin? Is that where you're at now?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Kevin Spencer of Kevin Spencer family, of Kevin Spencer solo ministry, of the Spencers. Man, what are you doing these days, Kevin?
Well, first of all, I didn't get cleaned up for this. I didn't know it was video. I thought it was audio. I'm out working my squirrel dogs, and here you've already mentioned them. I guess since I've got a hat on, I'm wondering if Charlie had a hat on.
You know what? Back when we did this, Charlie was riding up and down the road on the bus. Let me tell you, Kev, and I'll say this. Of all the people Arthur and I have ever had on, and we've had preachers like C.T. Townsend and Steve Brown on, but Charlie talked more Bible that day than anybody that I can remember.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
He loved America, too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Hey, man, what's going on with Kevin Spencer?
Well, I want to tell Arthur, by the way, that, man, we watched it the other night on the Jubilee, and I don't know how to tell you. I knew you were a great singer, but, man, you wiped it completely out. It was really good. My wife and I, and then, Ralph Sexton, and I jumped right up off my couch a couple times, and I told her, I said, CT's got his work cut out for him tomorrow night. Buddy, I was wrong. Old CD rolled me off the couch again.
Yeah.
And I don't watch much television, but she found that, and I wanted to see it. And I tell you what, that was real singing, my friend, and real preaching.
Thank you. You're kind.
Yep.
I'm enjoying it. I tell you, Brother Ralph's preaching like he's 35 years old.
I'm telling you, and then CT, I thought he had his work cut out for him. Then Ralph's behind him, waving him on,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, man, this is good stuff. So anyway, I wanted to say, but no, I'm busy. I sing more than I train dogs. Might as well talk about singing since it's a gospel music. I just didn't dress up for it. I didn't know. I'll say that the last time. So I'm out working. But anyway, still singing. I was looking today in the last month and a half, counting this weekend. I've been in California, Oklahoma, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, Kentucky, and 2 or 3 more. So I've been pretty busy.
Let me ask you this. Kevin, what draws you back to the road? Because you've been on the road, you stayed at home, did other things. You've been on the road again, you stayed at home, did other things.
No, I never left the road.
Never left the road.
Except COVID.
You got, how many miles do you think you got under your belt in life?
I've got over 7 million miles on me. Look at me. Arthur, we always said we live in Northern Ohio and sing Southern gospel.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
got to drive 1,000 miles to put the guitar on. You know what I
Just to get it where to sing. Yeah.
mean? We're singing bus drivers is really what we are.
Yeah. That's about
So
right.
it's over 7 million miles, but I'm 63. I still love it. I'll probably go another 50 years anyway.
There you go. What was the Spencer's big break, Kevin?
Coming soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number one song without a record company.
Really?
And then
How
we
did that
followed
one
it
just
with-
catch? I mean, it's a great song distribution wise. I mean, we live in such a world where it's so competitive. You know how competitive it is. Even in an industry like gospel music, if you ain't one of the big 12, it's tough to break in. What was it
I'm
about
too
it
far
that got you
past
there?
that stuff. I don't try anymore. I do my own thing and I love it. And I come home to my family and my grandkids. So I'm a very happy man.
Gotcha.
I'm not against the top 12, whatever you said. I'm not against any of that. Anyone that will promote the gospel, I'm behind them. I want to. It ain't about me. It's about the Lord.
Well, a lot of folks don't remember that your sister Denise wrote "In My Robe of White,"
Yeah, Janice.
which really put you guys on the charts.
Right.
And probably if Gold City hadn't cut at the same time, it would have been just as big.
Right.
But of course, that was a number one song for them. That was a song that the Kingsmen turned down. That was one of those songs that Eldridge was producing Gold City, and he took it, and the rest is history.
It was actually a number 2 song for Gold City, and the reason why is we had it number 19 at the same time.
Yeah.
And we regret that, but it's still a number 1 in many circles. I've yet to see Brian or any of them do a set without doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's it like to grow up the son of J.B. and Barbara Spencer?
Well, they're very strict Christians, and the day we live in now, I'm glad. I grew up that way, and we were taught that if you tell someone something, that's the end of the road. There's no discussing it. And that's even with my dogs, to be honest. Sold hundreds of my squirrel dogs. That's a funny name, but they tree squirrels like coon or whatever. And I enjoy that 2 or 3 days a week when I'm home. But I've sold many of those because of my honesty. They just don't want to be lied to anymore. They've been lied to before, and so have I.
So, Mom and Dad, y'all hit Coming Soon. Were you on the road full time when that song came out, or did y'all hit the road after that?
No, we were doing it by then with Robe of White. When I crossed that river, let's see, Sounds of That City. And we had worked the road hard since 83. And then Coming Soon was 90. So we had 7 years of working a lot of services in before we really hit. When we did hit, it was Coming Soon, and right after it was It'll Be Worth It After All.
Yeah.
And Let's Meet by the River, a song I wrote.
That's an awesome song, by the way.
Thank you.
And It'll Be Worth It After All is a timeless classic now, Kevin. You realize that, don't you?
I sing it every night. My cousin Denver Lamb wrote it. Listen to another song he wrote, Oh Daniel Prayed, one of his old classics.
Wow.
Listen to the line, Arthur, in this one. Oh, somewhere in a den of lions, he'd steal away and pray. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That is good.
Gaither told me he likes certain songs a lot. Well, I'm not that way. I like certain lines a lot. I hear songs even in country. I'm like, that's an awesome line, but it's not a song title.
Yep.
They got a great line, and then they build the song around it, and I guess that works. Yeah, it does work sometimes. It worked for me, Let's Meet by the River. But I'm saying a line in my songs is usually that's all it is.
The word anointed is probably the most overused word
Yes.
in
it
all
is.
of gospel music, okay? But I'm going to say
Yes.
this, and I mean no disrespect, and you've seen me quote this on social media and other things. Your mom and dad and your family was anointed because let's just face it, and I'm being
Wow.
real here. When we talk voice and pure talent, you're not Kim Greenhopper. You're not David Phelps. You're not Arthur Rice. You're
It's the
that
truth.
you're that family that grew up in the Midwest of America, and God put his hand on your family
There's no doubt.
and put y'all in a place to minister to folks others couldn't. Have you ever sat back and questioned and wondered, and just because it's natural to ask the Lord, why the Spencers? Why us? Have you ever thought about that?
I've thought about it many days, and we still give God the glory. We were raised on a little farm and learned to work and learned to drive. There again, mom and dad, strict Christians, and we would go see like the Happy Goodmans and stuff, and we never thought we would ever do it, Not that we did what the Goodmans did. Nobody did, I guess. But I'm saying we've been very blessed, and we give God the glory. Our music is anointed. There's people. I had 5 get saved the other night on Good Friday.
Nice.
So, I hear that word often in the road, and I try to not use it a lot because of what you said.
What's neat, I think, about how God has blessed your family is he spreads you out. I mean, your mom, dad's, they're still traveling some.
Son,
Wade's family, your sister's family. God has spread y'all around, kind of sharing talent all the way
well,
around.
and at the timing, Arthur, I know you would understand if no one did, you and Darren, but the timing was concert more then, and group and bus and sound man, and we had lights and sound, all the stuff. Now it's more of a, not totally, but a lot of church work. And I actually have pastors of very fine churches, I'm talking, that say, man, I like that you just patch in through RPA and a quick sound check and a small product table, nothing huge. I'm real careful with that in the fine churches. They're proud of their church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good stuff. One of the things I think that's overlooked with the Spencers, Arthur, is the talented musicians that you guys were.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
y'all played everything from regular rhythm guitar to mandolin. What else, Kev?
Well, we started in our home church. We were the church band. Dad played rhythm guitar, my sister Janice piano, my brother Wade mandolin, and I played the bass. And we all stuck with those, and we played them so long we had to get pretty good. We didn't take any lessons, I don't think. We just kept learning how to do it better.
How often did you practice growing up? I mean, when you were kids,
We never practiced. When we had a new song, we got paid to practice. We would do 10 new songs on an album. We'd go 10 concerts or more in a row and say, we got a brand new song tonight. Do you want to hear it? We've never sang it. And if we made a mistake, they loved it that much more.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just being honest with you. If we had an evening to practice, we would have been singing somewhere. That's the way we operated. We were busy. We did 260 a lot of years.
Right. Who picked the new songs?
I did a lot of them. I wrote some. Mom was our main writer. Dad, Janice, we've all written. Mom would give me stuff like It's So Peaceful with that Cathedrals cut. Mm-hmm. You guys remember that probably. Mm-hmm. And she said, I got a new song. I want a new tune. So I went in her living room and grabbed the guitar, and it's so peaceful in the arms of my Lord. I thought, that's pretty cool. She hollered from the kitchen. She said, I don't like it. That's working with family, Arthur. You know what I mean?
I know.
So I said, all right, Mom, that's it. You'll never hear another lick of it. No one has except you guys just now. Anyway, I struck the guitar. Now, this whole world is full of hate and misery. She said, I like it. And we cut it, and then the cats cut it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite tape? I mean, what's your favorite project with the Spencers? And I usually don't ask that question, and Arthur knows we don't talk number one songs. We very seldom ask what's a favorite project. But the reason I'm asking, Kevin, I'm going to tell you my favorite project, and I don't want, you may have already left and been with the Kevin Spencer family when this project came up, but I'm going to tell you what it is and why it is in just a second. But I want to know what your favorite project is.
I would say When I Crossed That River. which had the model church, It's So Peaceful, In My Robe of White. And that's the album that we hit with. So it's, has a place in my heart.
My favorite Spencer's tape of all time was a live tape, and it was the one done down in the Caribbeans, live in Tortelli or wherever that Tortola, British Virgin Islands. Is that correct? Is that where Tortola is?
That's where it still is.
Hey, that's what I was thinking. But anyway, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm listening to this, and I'm realizing at this point as I'm listening to this, here's a group from mid-Ohio or northern Ohio that is in the middle of nowhere singing a genre of music that those people didn't grow up listening to, but yet the Lord is connecting them like electric currents because you could feel the presence on that tape between your mom and dad and those guys, those folks. So,
well, the song that took us there is Coming Soon.
Yeah.
I get a call from a radio station. It's gone now, of course, but it was WGOD. I'm like, okay, that'll work. I'll take that. And how about a WJES? We'll take that one too.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's Peter Richardson. I could barely understand this dude. And he said, you've got the #1 song in the British Virgin Islands. I said, well, tell me about it. I'm interested. And he told me, and they stayed there 8 months in a row. And when we got there, we had 3 in the top 40. And the way they do their top 40, number 40 is #1. And we had It'll Be Worth It After All, number 40, but it said #1. They 1, 2, they go up the page instead of down. So Coming Soon was still in there somewhere. But the more I talked to him, he said, I'm telling you, you guys can draw a big crowd here if you want to come. I said, well, when are we going to do it? So I remember Dad walked in after I hung up and I said, Dad, we're going to the British Virgin Islands and we're going to do a live album and live video. And he said, you're crazy. That's the words he said. And $73,000 later, which would be $250 now, we were there, and Kevin McManus and I flew like 2 months early and checked everything out. We just, there was so much we couldn't understand, and we wanted to make sure we had it down to a science. In September it was, and then in December we walked out in front of 915 that paid $15 to hear us sing. Man, that was in 90.
Let's pause for just a second. $15 for those folks in the British Virgin Islands is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. If you look up the cost of living down there, that's a $50 ticket in Atlanta, Georgia.
It is. We told the promoter if someone can't afford it, let them in. He had no one asked to get in free.
Wow.
They love God down there. If you guys ever had a chance, we should have put that out on DVD, but it was kind of already gone. But with the VHS, if you ever have a chance to see it, it's probably on the tube. I don't know. But anyway, we did Coming Soon, of course. Then we did segments, to make the nice video uptown and stuff. And we've seen these kids. We were taking our picture that's on the front of the songbook for that project. Real nice picture with all the island flowers and all that. And we looked across the street, and there's a school had let their kids out for recess. And the girls were all in certain color skirt and top, and the guys matched. I mean, this was pretty amazing. Stuff you don't see anymore here. And they were all in uniform, and it wasn't a Christian school. It's just a school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said, let's go over and talk to them kids. I just felt like we should. And the crew met us over there, and we told them who we were. Well, that one little girl knew us. And we told them who we were, and they all started singing Coming Soon. So with the camera guy, I said, turn it on, man, get it. And he got it. And it's on the video, and they know every word to that song. Every kid knew it. And I can't go to Ashland, Ohio right now where I live and go to the school, and most of them wouldn't even know me. And if I start singing Coming Soon or any of our big songs, they'd say, that's nice, but we never heard of it. It's just the truth.
Cool.
But down there, man, that was Spencer country.
Cool.
And we got there. when I talked to the guy, I said, "How come they like this song? That's not your guys' format at all." They said they don't care. They love what they feel. They felt coming soon, Jesus in all of his glory. Another thing similar happened when we did Rough Side of the Mountain. There was a station out in Farmington, New Mexico, right in the middle of Navajo land, Indians. And that was album days. And they had us out there, and we packed everything they put us in, big old auditoriums. It was pretty amazing. And we don't pack everywhere we go. I'm not acting like we do, because we don't. But anyway, they came out, man. It was one of the bigger things we ever did. And Rough Side of the Mountain was like Elvis. It was kind of unbelievable. And they presented Mom the album that night on stage, because song number 4 had a groove. The whole song was so tired they couldn't play it. And we didn't have a CD yet in those days, so we gave them another album. Then when CDs came out, we mailed them a CD. I don't know, you guys may have different feel of what I'm going to say, but even in country music, there is a feeling. It's not really spiritual or God, but it's related to that. It's feeling. But Merle said we've got to get the feeling back in country music. And I thought, well, we probably need to do the same with gospel. I'm just being honest, So the feeling is what people feel when we sing, and it is in every song. In the islands, it's coming soon. In Navajo land, it's Rough Side of the Mountain. In California, it's something upbeat and strong and all that. In Kentucky, it's one of Dad's grassy type songs. So I'll be in Oklahoma. They love it there. I think I sing more in Oklahoma than anywhere, but they say they're hillbillies. Well, I'm one of them. So maybe that's it. I don't know, Arthur. Are you a hillbilly? You're in North Carolina. Now, you can be a classy hillbilly, and I think that's what you are. Today, I look terrible. I didn't even shave. Next time, Derek, you call me, you tell me it's going to be on national television, man.
Well, we're not on national TV yet. We're headed that way.
I don't think I've ever done a podcast. I wasn't even thinking of a video.
Yeah.
When do you first remember the Spencers?
I can't remember where we worked with you guys first time. I mean, it had to be 84, 85, somewhere in there, I guess, probably 84, but I don't remember where.
God, 84. Do you realize that's 40
crazy,
years ago?
Doesn't make sense.
Isn't that crazy? What do you, let me ask you this, Arthur, and I've never asked you this question before, but it's something I've always thought of. You guys are on a bus. You're the big, powerful Kingsman, okay? Just tearing it down. You got the best MC in the business. You're one of the best lead singers in the business. You got the best piano player in the business. Got one of the greatest bass singers in the business in Ray Dean. Got great songs that can take a crowd up on the top of the mountain. And you are constantly pushing. And it's not competition, but you want to do the best and you want to do the best. Then all of a sudden, a little group out of Northern Ohio comes out with a song like Coming Soon, and it blows everything y'all are doing away.
Oh, no,
what do y'all do on the bus? What do y'all look around and say to each other? What do you say to Hamill and Foxy? Can't y'all pick songs? What's up with this? Because it's natural to think like that, boss. It really is.
Here's the thing. It happened every week. I mean, it was the Spencers. You had the Crab family. They started. Yeah. They were just kids. I mean, we sung with them with Kingdom Heirs when they were just kids, and in the '80s. I mean, my word, every time you turned around, the McCameys just came out of nowhere.
Right.
and you're like, how is it? What's it working? Or how does it work? And then you just stand back and you just go, well, it's nothing that they're doing, and it's nothing that the record company is doing. It's just an anointing, and it's a God thing, and you can't explain it away. And that's where that man really has nothing to do with it, when you can't explain it away. When you can look and you can see, well, they're throwing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars behind them, and they're putting, that sort of thing, you can go, well, yeah, kind of man's kind of got something to do with that. But I'm telling you, man, when these groups come along and they just come out of nowhere, and like the Spencers and the McCameys and all these groups, you have to look at it and you go, you know what? It's just a God thing. Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. Kevin, let me ask you this.
Yes.
And I think I'm right on this. If I'm not, this is the stupidest question I've ever asked in an interview. Okay. Did you not did you not invent that homecoming board game for Bill Gaither?
Yes, I did.
So what sold more for you, the homecoming board game or the Spencer's
Bill
album?
sold 10,000 of them in minutes and called me and said, we're done. Said, I'm not making any money. I said, well, that's my luck. The way I invented that, dude, was that we were in Detroit, and it's cold in Detroit in stinking July. You know what I mean? You just, that water,
Yeah.
man. And
Miserable
we found
place,
out
Detroit,
when we got
Michigan.
home the next day, my mechanic, I got to where I needed a mechanic to ride with me, man. I mean, them old buses. But anyway, he came over and he said, the reason you froze so bad was your air condition was stuck on and it 9 degrees. You know what I mean? So when we got to our fine home, God had blessed us with, I went in there and I put like 4 or 5 blankets on, man, above average, because I drove it and I was completely froze. And I heard my kids in there at about, well, we're 3 hours from Detroit, so probably midnight. I heard them in there playing with little cars. And now I'm not just saying this, Arthur, but one of them said they were the Kingsmen. Yeah, I remember it. And one of them said, well, I'll be the Goodmans. And one of them, I don't know, might have been us. Probably not. You know how kids are. But they all had, my 3 kids, they had and I'm laying there froze, falling out, first time and only time in my life. And I thought, I got a great idea. So I jumped up, put some warm clothes on of something, because our house was, we'd had it down to 62 or whatever for a tour. So we were still cold. So we had it back up to 70, whatever. And I started writing this down, and my wife said, what in the world are you doing up? You're froze, it's midnight, you gotta be cold. I said, I'm starting a new deal. So when I got it drew out with if you've ever seen the game, everybody drives a little bus. There's
I still got one.
Yeah, there are like 6 buses on it, and you decide who you are, the Kingsmen or Kingdom Heirs, whoever. And you roll the dice, which has Gaither's face on one side.
I always pick the Hoppers because they got the nicest bus, but keep going.
And they wash theirs. So does cathedrals. Well, Fred does, but it did. But anyway, I showed this to Bill in Louisville at the convention at a breakfast at the Hyatt one morning. I asked him if I could have some time with him. He's always very nice to me, by the way, and I don't know why. I do know why. I'll tell you in a minute. I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, I got this real nice professional drawing of it. It looks like a board. Well, I had a professional draw, and I'm going to show Bill Gaither. I want it to look nice. And I unfolded that, dude, and laid it on our table while we waited on his pancakes my pancakes and his oatmeal, I remember. And Hovey and people was sitting at other places around there, but it was just Bill and I, which was very cool. And he looked up at me over his eyes and he said, what is it? I said, it's a board game. And you have little cars. I think I took some Monopoly little gadgets, to act it out. But I said, these will be little buses. And we're all in gospel music, and we land, and the chance card or whatever says, what year was Arthur Rice, the lead singer, first time? You know what I'm saying? That type of question. Trivia. And we built it on thousands of trivia questions, all about gospel music. Not bragging, but it was a great idea. I'm just saying it was. Bill loved it, but he got so much money in it, he stopped. He ordered 10,000 and they sold like nothing. That's when he was on top of everything. And that's the end of Homecoming Audition, but we'll do something else later. The reason I wanted to say that about Bill Gaither, because I don't throw his name around, as I've seen done. I don't care for stuff like that. But anyway, Charlie Waller asked me one night, he said, "Do you know why Bill likes you so well?" And I said, "Charlie, I don't have a clue, man. We're not his style. We're not whatever. We're not in. We do our own thing." And he said, "You want to know why?" I said, "I definitely want to know why." And he said, "Because he feels the Lord when you sing." Arthur, that's what I felt the other night, my brother, when you were singing in your rarest form, man. You were anointed of God. I know the word's overused, but we better grab it when we got it.
That's it.
Amen. Yep.
That's it. Hey, you know what? Kevin, since we're talking about Arthur real quick, I love watching Arthur because I lead the music at my church, and it's nowhere near the size of Trinity where Arthur's at. But I love watching Arthur turn around and lead that choir. Somebody's singing. Then he turns around to lead a congregational, and he's got big old crocodile tears coming down his cheeks.
Sure.
I've seen more crocodile tears coming down his cheeks while he's been a song leader than I ever seen when he was singing with the Kingdom Heirs or the Kingsmen or anybody else.
Okay.
Arthur, I've never told you that, have I? But it's the truth, my friend. It's the truth, and you really love what you're doing, and it shows. And anybody that hadn't seen it, go to Trinity his church in Asheville, North Carolina, and watch them. Yeah, online. That's the cool thing today, is we've got everything's at an instant. Everything can. Kevin, after you left Mom and Dad, you started the Kevin Spencer Family, and you had a good little hit run there too.
Well, I was blessed.
Talk about that.
First song was called "Some Dawning." Jack Toney had written. I liked a line in it. "I'll fly away" is the song we'll be singing. That's what I think of because I like lines and a lyric at one at a time. But then I heard about a stone that was hewed out of the mountain, and that was over 100 years old. And Spear and Gaither and everybody's like, "Man, everybody done that. What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, it's number one. I don't really care." And then Bill actually called the first time he ever called us, and I knew it was him just with his nice stutter. I said, "This is stinking Bill Gaither." And I couldn't even, is Kevin there? And I'm like, "Son, this is Bill Gaither." I said, "Yeah, can I help you?" And he said, with his stutter, he said, "You've got a song out that I want on my next video." And I said, "Well, whatever, which one?" He said, "I heard about a stone." Bill's favorite song on that video is "I Heard About." He just absolutely, if he would walk in right now at my concert, he would say, "Have you sung the Stone song?" And I'd sing it twice if I had.
Kevin, you've mentioned Bill Gaither a lot, and you've mentioned the Goodmans, and you've mentioned Arthur and some other folks. But if Kevin Spencer's going to a concert tonight, and there's no such thing as time, and you could go see the one gospel group you wanted to go see tonight and listen to them do a 12-song set, who's Kevin Spencer going to see?
Rusty Goodman, number one, and the Happy Goodmans with him.
No doubt. Cool. Arthur, what about you? I've never asked you that.
I would love to see that. That'd be good. That'd be good. I was so young when the Goodmans were really kind of in their heyday. I didn't appreciate it until afterwards. I'd love to, I'd love to.
Now, you're good at leading the choir, Arthur. You're good at leading the choir, but Rusty's going to lead it in heaven. I'm sorry.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey,
without a doubt.
While we're lightly here, if I can butt in there, Darren, tell Ralph that he invited me, that rascal, to his church. He heard me do the Blood Is Still There down there in, we did one of those camp meetings for Chris Rumfelt. You know him.
Yeah.
And we did that last year, and he said, "Man, I want you to come and do the Blood Is Still There in my church." And he hasn't called me. Tell him I didn't change the phone numbers, will you?
Okay. I'll tell him.
There you go. There you go. You talk training squirrel dogs. What's Kevin Spencer do outside of gospel music, my friend?
Well, I bought a squirrel dog 12 years ago that I used to hunt and deer hunt and stuff, but I've quit all that. A squirrel dog is so much funner to me and they tree squirrels. A good one will tree about 40 in a day. And if I shoot them all, I usually don't. But if I do, I give them to my Amish neighbors. I can't eat. I like to eat them, but my wife won't cook them. But I eat them about once every 4 or 5 years. Find somebody that wants to cook them. But they're the dogs are a lot of fun. But we make sure none of those go to waste.
Fun stuff. Fun
Yep.
stuff.
I just got hooked.
What else
I
you
don't
into,
know
my
why.
friend? I mean, what
Well,
else is
I
Kevin
mean-
Spencer like? Don't tell me you're an Ohio State fan, but we'll have to cut this off. But anyway,
We're actually Michigan fans. People find that hard to believe, but my son, he's 32 now, and now my grandsons and my son-in-law, they're all Michigan. 3 years ago when Michigan smashed the Buckeyes, they were there. I was on the road somewhere, of course, and they went up there knowing they was going to lose because they had for 11 years, And that day they won, and they've won ever since. Except this year, I think Hargrove won, and then he left.
there you go.
No, that's
There
right.
you
I'm
go.
wrong. I'm thinking backwards. They won every year. They've won 3 in a row.
There you go. They beat
Yep.
Ohio State. And everybody in Ohio has turned the show off, and they will not listen to the remainder of it. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Kevin, we appreciate you, pal.
Hey.
I appreciate your ministry through the years, and God's used you, family, and they've been a blessing to me, and you've been a blessing to me. I don't have to be ashamed to listen to your music.
That's very nice of you, Arthur, and I feel the same, and I wish you the very best. Darren, thank you for such a professional job, and your man running the machines there, Keith,
Yeah.
am I right?
Yep. Keith's
Yep.
behind the scenes.
Keith, I
Yep.
appreciate you just the same. We couldn't do it without you. And you guys
Sure.
have a great day. And I'm going to go in this store because I'm buying dog food. And I'm going home and getting a shower before I get back on television.
There you go. Kevin, we
See you
appreciate
guys.
it, my man.
God bless.
Thanks.
Bye.
God bless.
Thank you, pal.
Bye.
Arthur, good stuff
Yes,
from our
sir.
friend Kevin
Yes,
Spencer.
sir.
Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, man, Arthur, as I say every day when we leave the show and we'll get out of here, what's wrong with living right anyway?
Not one thing.
You're listening to SGNP. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Oh,